Do you know what microaggression? Do you know what a microaggression? Do you know what a microaggression? Do you know what a microaggression? Do you know what microaggressions? Do you know what a microaggression is?
No, I do not.
Yes, I know what it is.
No.
Yes, I do. No, I do not.
Hold on.
What is a microaggression?
Let's we gonna find out. Okay.
Hold on! Because he was never gonna have me on here stupid, bro. And that's merch.
It's okay. A lot of people didn't know.
No, but it's true.
I think when I describe it, you'll recognize it though. Can you give me a definition?
So, microaggressions are, you know, a lot of times they're actually like backhanded compliments. So it's something that a person says based on like a stereotypical predisposition that they have that they are not addressing like firsthand. Like it's not overt, but it's like a lot of times it's just a backhanded compliment, like confirming a stereotype or attributing it to somebody.
Yeah. Great, that was really good. That was basically my whole project right there. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Because I think racism exists on this like really wide spectrum. Implicit bias is very real, and you know, microaggressions are not the most racist thing you could do, you know, in terms of like the spectrum I'm talking about, but it's definitely a part of it, and I think that it's a part of it that's too often ignored because people are too scared to like speak out and to be to not be complacent because they don't want to disturb the peace. But I think that, you know, if you hear a microaggression, you should definitely call the person out. Just don't do it in a manner that obviously would add more fuel to the fire.
Now that you know the definition, can you think of any incidents where you might have encountered a microaggression?
In middle school, a lot of people used to tell me that I acted white, so I guess that could be one of them.
So when someone says, "Aren't you white?" then it kind of puts me in an awkward position.
Yeah.
And then, especially when they look really shocked when I'm like, "No, I'm Colombian." I'm like, do all Latin people have to look a certain way?
Yeah.
Is that what makes us Latin?
I put out this lip gloss that you can get at any beauty supply store, and she's like, I put it out, and she was like, "Oh, you're wearing the black girl lip gloss," and I looked at her, yes, and I looked at her, and I said, "The what?" She said, "Yeah, you know, because all the black girls use it." I said, "No, this is at any beauty supply store. If you
My bad if I want.
we just don't have it in Iowa.
Yeah.
Like, we just don't have
You
it
need
in
to check
Iowa."
yourself with your chapped lips.
Yes,
Facts.
like, I said it's good, and then
Them lips together.
I even let her use it. I said it's a good product. Like, why does it have to be just black girl? That's like saying wearing hoops is just a Hispanic thing. Like, no, that's not what that is. It's just lip gloss, and it's not just black people. You only see black people with it because we go to
We were raised on that. We know
like
what
we
it
go
is.
to beauty supply stores most of the time.
Something that a lot of people hear a lot is, you know, "You're pretty for a black girl."
Mhm.
That's a really good example of a common microaggression because it's like, it's a compliment, you know, somebody's calling you pretty. But the thing is, the for a black girl part implies that black women, black girls are not inherently pretty. They're not inherently beautiful, and so you, being beautiful and being black, a black woman are not things that necessarily coexist often in that person's head. So when they say you're pretty for a black girl, it's like in their mind, you know, pretty black girls are a rarity. Like they attribute like prettiness or beauty to girls that aren't black. So pretty for a black girl is just saying like, oh, like you're one of the few like non-ugly ones, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh wait, there was this one time that like we were walking in the mall, and then my friend was with me. She was like a hijabi too, and like just a group of like guys and stuff like walked past us, and they were like terrorists, and we were like, who are they talking to? But,
Are they like? Did they say it out loud?
yeah.
Oh.
The people make fun of my accent. Sometimes don't know, I get confused. Like they say, like, oh well, like you are Latino, you speak Spanish, you're a Mexican. I'm not a Mexican. I come from Venezuela. I mean, it's not an insult, but I think sometimes I would like to be recognized as like the from the place that I come from.
So maybe like
People follow me around stores and ask me if I need help. Well, I mean, like, you can ask me for help, but when you're coming up to me every 2 minutes, like, oh, did you find anything? Yeah. That's when it gets a little overboard. Because I carry myself very well. When I go out somewhere, I dress up nicely to avoid things like this.
People think that, you know, like, you have to grow up a certain way in order to, like, be a certain ethnicity.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter how you grow up, it just matters that that's who you are. And some people would be like, oh, but you're white and you act so normal. Like, do Latin people not act normal?
Yeah.
Because to us it's very normal to just act who we are.
You, yeah.
So I don't get the difference between someone acting like a white person and someone acting like a Latin person, because I think those are both the same.
Yeah.
So whenever someone says, I don't act like a Latin person, I'm just, do you want me to speak Spanish for you or something? Because that's not what I do all the time.
Yeah. You're more.
Being conscious of the underlying meaning of what you're saying, because a lot of times, you know, like, everybody messes up, everybody makes mistakes, but microaggressions are a thing where a lot of people who say them, they don't necessarily see the error in what they're talking about or what they're doing. So, because that's another thing, like, microaggressions aren't always just things that you say. A lot of times it's actions.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like little miniature hostilities. That's why they're called microaggressions. That alienate people and they isolate people and they further divide us. And I just think that you should be more consciously aware of what you're talking about when you're talking to someone and what you're implying through your words. You know, because there's always like the literal meaning of what you're trying to say, and then there's like the underlying part of it, and people tend to sort of ignore like the underlying aspect and just focus on like their actual words.
If you were to encounter a microaggression with someone, how would you sort of tell them and like approach them that they were kind of wrong or whatever?
Well, I think the best thing to do is just to, you know, stay respectful. Unless, you know, you see someone getting hurt, but like you should always let the person know when you call them out that you're coming from a place of like wanting to help them and wanting to let the person that they directed it towards be heard, because like it's very easy when somebody directs a microaggression towards you to not call someone out. Like, I know from experience that a lot of times you want to stay quiet because you don't want to like feed into even more stereotypes by getting angry and by getting emotional and having like a strong reaction. So you just stay neutral, you respectfully explain, you calmly explain why what they're saying was offensive to you or hurtful, and how they can just try to not repeat the same thing with other people.
What do you wish people would like say, or like, what do you wish people would do instead of being so
like I know that they have good intentions, but I really wish that they'd be less surprised.
Yeah.
When I say, no, I'm Colombian. I mean, instead just say like, oh, cool. Like, I never knew that. And instead of saying, really? Oh, you look so white. Don't you think I know that?
It's really important to think and ask before making assumption about someone or about whichever thing that it could be happening to the person before knowing the person, before talking with it, understanding who is the person and where it comes from, or what are the things that a person lives.
Anybody?
Racism is a big. It's still a big deal. It's gonna be a big deal for a long time until people talk about it head on and go like, this is an issue, and these are the ways we can try to prevent big issues instead of running from the truth. I feel like people are afraid of the truth.
Well, just like keep like persevering through. Like obviously, racism is still gonna be around like for a long time, even if like we try to like make protests and like rules and whatever. But like it's still gonna be around. People are still gonna say what they want to say. But like we're just gonna have to like just look past that and just try to do our best.
What would you say to sort of maybe fix the problem?
Everybody just needs to be more accepting. Like I don't understand what's the issue with race? Like aren't we all the same people? Like we literally just look different. Like everybody looks different. So why are certain people being targeted for being darker or lighter or whatever?
We can't express our feelings.
We can't because there's not a lot of people, not a lot of minority teachers. So when we have a
Or
problem,
staff at anything.
Yeah, they're not on your side.
we can't talk to y'all because y'all don't know. You don't understand us. Like you weren't raised the way that we were. So
Even though like some teachers do try. Some teachers do, like, I'm not even gonna take it away. Some teachers do try to understand, but it's just different having a black person who actually, you know, experiences it than like a white person who says,
like,
you know, I can only imagine how you feel.
Like Ms. Head, like when you have an issue, when you go to her and tell her, she'll be like, okay, yeah, I understand. Whereas when you would go to a teacher that is Caucasian, they'd be like, well, you could have handled it better, or maybe you should have did this. Okay, how about you just hear me out and process what I said and try to think about how I feel instead of what I should have done, what I could have done. Like, how about you put yourself in my shoes and think of all the stereotypes that are put on me throughout a day. Like, I come to school and I have to worry about, like what you said, making sure I don't steal someone's stuff. I don't get in trouble because then it's just, I'm a typical black person when I'm not.
Yeah, it's just tiring, like, thinking about that stuff constantly.
Yes. Always having to look over your shoulder when you shouldn't have to.
Not to be rude, but a lot of white people are ignorant because they don't know. They just don't know about these issues. They hear about it, but they aren't living it. So it's hard for them to be like, oh, well, I understand where you're coming from because they're not black. So the only thing that we can do is to help people understand and do it with kindness and not attack others because we're angry about it, but continue to try to help the situation instead of being angry about it.
Okay. Has there ever been an instance where maybe you've tried to confront someone about a microaggression or something, and they've been sort of defensive?
Yeah,
or dismissive?
all the time. It's just, like I said, ignorance. Like people don't know. People don't know about it, so they're going to handle situations how they want to do it unless they're open-minded and are open about learning about other problems and differences we all have.
Okay, thank you.